Every morning, one of the questions I ask myself, does my life have meaning? And the best that I've come to is this idea that as long as I'm growing and expanding, I seem to have a juice in me that desires more life. So I've come to the conclusion for myself that the key to living a fulfilled and meaningful life is to continually to grow and expand who I am. And so I say that to you because you may be asking the same question. You may be sitting there, you may be bored out of your mind. You may be in depression. You may be in anxiety. And the reason you're in depression and anxiety is because you're not moving forward. You're not expanding. You feel stuck. You're in the quicksand and you can't get out of the quicksand. And right now, more than ever, there are more and more and more people that feel they're stuck in the quicksand. But here's the key. The quicksand is not real. It's only your mind. Your mind is the quicksand. And guess who has the key to change what's going on in your mind? Only you do. No one else can change your mind. No one else can pull you out of the quicksand. That's the job you have to do. Now, others can be there and support you, can cheer you on. They may be able to hand you a branch, but you got to grab the branch and you got to pull and you've got to lift yourself out of the quicksand. So that's what I'm trying to do each and every morning as I do this little podcast with you, is I'm trying to hand you a branch that you can grab onto, but you've got to do the work. And so it's a really interesting question that gets asked. And the question that gets asked of me, how do you support someone and not take on their emotions? You ever been in that situation, gang? Have you been the person? You've asked someone to help you and you want them to take on your emotions. Here's the key thing that I've learned. If I'm supporting someone to help lift them, I can't take on their emotions, because what good does it do me to lower my vibration? It does you no good. Absolutely no good. It just drags you down. Here's the best thing you can do with someone as they're struggling. Ask them this question. How can I support you? That's a great question. It's not how can I help you, because help implies they don't have the ability. When you say, how can I support you? That means you know they have the ability. You're letting them know that they have the ability, and you're there to lend a helping hand. And when you lend a helping hand, you don't change your mental atmosphere. You don't change your vibration for them, because now you're not lending a helping hand. Here's the other key thing about that. When you're trying to support someone, you don't want to get an emotion. In your mind, when you think about that person, see them as they desire to be. See them as whole and perfect. Because you send out a vibration when you see them a specific way. In particular, when you're with them. When you see them as whole and perfect, when you're with them, they feel that energy. They may not understand it, but they feel the energy, and that energy will lift them. Because it's not an energy that's saying, I'm coming down with you into the muck. No, it's an energy that I see you out of the muck. I see you rising above that. The other thing that I do in this situation when I'm not with that person, I don't think about them. I don't worry about them. Because I know that the only time I can have an influence on that person is when I'm with them. And I know that my work is to change my mental attitude about who they are and what they're going through. So as a minister, I pray for people all the time. And what I do is I pray to see them as whole and perfect. Once I've got that image in my mind and I see them as whole and perfect, I forget about them, because there's nothing more I can do. Nothing more I can do. Here's one of the things that I teach or I speak at Agape all the time, whether it's virtual Agape, whether it's in-person Agape, it's all Agape, is I say this: if you need my support, you have to ask. Because I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not thinking about, I wonder how so-and-so's doing. I wonder how this one's doing. I wonder how that one's doing. I don't have the time for that. I don't have the time. I don't want to, I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to be very blunt. I don't want to waste my time doing that. Because if someone's not come to me and said, I would like you to support me, Lee, in doing this, then as far as I'm concerned, I'm making the assumption that they do not need my support. I'm definitely stuck in the quicksand. It's hard to see someone as whole and perfect when he just broke my wrist. Yeah, man, that's a tough one, Zach. That person, I would ask, what was their energy before they broke your wrist? What's their energy been with you prior to this? Was it an accident? Was it deliberate? If it was an accident, shit, accidents happen. If it was deliberate, then I would ask the question, why is that person's energy in my life and why am I allowing it to continue? And maybe the perfection of the situation is because he broke your wrist. And if it was intentional, maybe that's a clear sign from the universe to get out of his energy because you're not a vibrational match and nothing you do is going to change that. So there's the perfect. That person gave you a very clear sign to get out of their life. It was my brother and it was intentional. Get him out of your life. That's what I'll tell you. That's abuse in my mind. That's physical abuse. I'm not saying that physical abuse is worse than mental abuse. All abuse is bad. And the question is, you can stay with that person around you, or you can choose to free yourself from that person and that energy. My suggestion is get the hell out of Dodge. Go move to a Maverick town or something else, but get out. And so your brother is basically saying, you and I, we're not a match. We're not a match. And I don't know how to communicate clearly, so I'll just friggin' break your wrist. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know the data. Don't need to know it. But here's what I know. If someone does that to me, they're gone from my life. Because I love myself enough. I respect myself enough that I'm not going to put myself in harm's way for anything. The only time I put myself in harm's way is to protect myself. And a lot of times protecting myself means leaving a situation. Here's the thing. A lot of times we worry about people. Going back to my original topic, how do you support someone and not take on their energy? When you worry about someone, it's a prayer, and that prayer will be answered. If you worry about yourself, it's a prayer. Your family says, I'm not trying to understand him. Zach, F what your family says. What does your heart tell you? Stop listening to your family. Start listening to Zach. I can't get any more clear about that. I don't give a damn what anyone says to me about my life. The only thing that matters about my life is me and what I think of it. Because when I'm on that last breath, when I'm breathing my last breath in this body, I'm going to be asking the question, was I Lee? Was I authentically Lee? Did I live the life that Lee would have chosen? It's not going to be, did I please so-and-so? Did I please my mother? Did I please my father? No, we're not here to do that. We're here to expand personally and to grow. And if you're around a toxic person, you can't grow and expand because toxic people don't want you to grow and expand because then you won't be around them. Bullies don't want you to leave because bullies like to bully. Statement I want to say here is, remember something. You are responsible for your life. No one else. You are responsible for your life and the direction you take your life. You're responsible for how you experience whatever experiences come at you. You're responsible for who the people you allow into your life. You're responsible for everything. Look at all the support coming at you, Zach. You're not the only one who's been bullied. You're not the only one who's been. Families have said, stay together because it's family. Understand because it's family. Screw that. I had a brother who was completely toxic. I chose to let him go. I didn't need him in my life. My mother would say to me, call your brother, call your brother. I said, Mom, why? Why would I call him? We don't think alike in any way, shape. Well, maybe you can help him. I've asked, how can I support you? The only time that he asked me to support him was a week and a half before he died. He asked for my support, getting everything in order and getting him back in hospice. Because he asked for my support, I did it. But the 25, 30 years before that, I wasn't going to be around my brother. He was a very, very dark, angry individual. And when I was young, I tried to help him, but it didn't work. So I just said no. It's his life. He's responsible for it. He's responsible for the thoughts he's thinking, the actions he's taking, and the words he's speaking. I am not. Here's who I'm responsible for. Lee Wolak. Lee Wolak. And you're responsible. Maggie, you're responsible for Maggie. Corey's responsible for Corey. Joshua's responsible for Joshua. Zach's responsible for Zach. Robert is responsible for Robert. Claire is responsible for Claire. That's my granddaughter. I love that you're out there, Claire. If I was with you right now, guess what, Claire? It would be tickle time. Yes, indeed, tickle time. Nachama says, is worrying like saying one is not confident either in themselves or in another person? This seems to be a relatively new idea, but a valuable one. Worrying is about seeing something happening in the future that causes you to be fearful. It could be a relationship going bad. It could be getting sick. It could be losing your job. It could be all sorts of things. But McBride goes, tickle time is the bomb. You bet it is. Because guess what? When you're in tickle time, Nachama, if you're in tickle time, you got a granddaughter who's almost 4, and you're in tickle time, guess what? You're not going to worry about anything. Because it's tickle time. We did that with my boys growing up. We had tickle time, and we would yell tickle time, and the boys would go running and jump on our bed, and Gene and I would go in there and we would tickle each other. It's one of my fondest memories. Because in those moments, Gene and I and my boys, we were so present, and we were laughing, and we were connected. That's why I brought tickle time to Claire's life. Yeah, Nachama, worrying is a prayer because it's creating a belief. The more you worry, the deeper the belief you create. The more you create the belief, the more the belief creates your life. The essence of everything I teach is it is done unto you as you believe. Your beliefs, whether they're conscious or subconscious, are drawing to you how you experience all the events in your life and the people that you attract to you. So, Zach, I'm going to come back at you right now and say this. I think you need to develop a belief that I attract people who love, support, and accept me as I am. And it is an easy and harmonious relationship. Did you hear those words? People who love, support, and accept, and it's an easy and harmonious relationship. That's going to take you. That's your job. That's your work right there. So gang, hot diggity. Thank you for being with me today. I've talked more than I want to. I normally go 10 minutes, but today we got into a great topic. I know that people are feeling isolated. I know that people are feeling alone. If you need support, you reach out. Know that I do a gathering on Wednesdays at 1:30 Central Time, and I do it at 7 p.m. Central Time, and you can join and be on live with me on Zoom. All you got to do is go to agapespiritualcenter.com and you can get the link. Also, this Saturday is my workshop on my book, The Power in You. So if you haven't signed up, go to agapespiritualcenter.com again. Sign up for this free workshop. And oh, by the way, go buy the book. It's on Amazon. It's the best I've got. The Power in You by Lee Wolak. Until tomorrow, I accept you. I love you. And go create your best day ever. Until then, aloha.